Welcome in, everybody. It's time for the Texas Tailgate, brought to you by our friends at Hargrove Roofing, South Point Dodge, Flat Creek Estate, and others. I'm Bobby Burton, joined by Jerry Hamilton. Jerry's already been up and at 'em this morning, checking the recruiting line, basically checking everything out. Already found out this morning you tweeted a picture of Joseph Mbaktu, defensive lineman out of Grayson, Georgia. Actually made it to Texas this weekend instead of taking
canceled Tennessee, which is big news for that Texas.
Absolutely, that's happening. Zealous Hicks, the safety out of Georgia, is here on his official visit as well. We expect Michael Fasusi later, Nick Townsend, Myron Charles. You reported last night he's expected at Texas instead of Florida today.
Yeah.
A lot of news going on right now in recruiting, and that's what we'll start with right now.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll just say that, throw this out here. I think there's somebody else really big on campus. We don't know who it is quite yet.
Yeah.
Or we're not prepared to confirm it quite yet.
Yes.
And I'm not being a tease. There's things you see, and now you work to confirm. But I've got to do this live stream with all of you people before I can confirm.
CJ's over there bird dogging it for us right now.
And by the way, Jenny Burton's keeping an eye on me over here in case I do something crazy.
All right, hey, Jerry, before we go further into recruiting, it is Longhorns game day, 2:30 this afternoon on ABC against the Kentucky Wildcats. The Wildcats come in, and they're the healthiest they've been all season long.
Yep.
Your thoughts on the game and what it looks like? By the way, if you're not in Austin, Texas today, there is not a cloud in the sky. This is a Chamber of Commerce Saturday.
Tough day to feel the pump, but a great day to be a fan.
Yeah,
that's the way I define this day. I mean, no, you don't need a hat and something to cover your neck and 38 bottles of water for $200. So you're pretty much good. Just your tickets and maybe a little sunscreen, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous day. And look, I think Texas is going to get the most physical game Kentucky's got today. I think they're going to try to bring it physically at Texas, and that's in the run game offensively. They run a lot of counter. They run a lot of power, and I think that's what you're going to see from Kentucky. And I think that first down, who wins on first downs in this game is massive, and that's the Texas defense versus the offense. If the Kentucky offense can get to enough second and mediums, third and shorts, then that changes their calculus of being able to move the ball against Texas effectively or have a shot to move the ball against Texas effectively. If Texas wins on first downs defensively, I think Kentucky is in deep trouble because they don't pass very well.
They don't pass very well, and they don't pass protect very well.
No.
And, frankly, Texas has a tremendous secondary as well as a group that, Jerry, we talked about it in the preseason. Is this going to be a team that finally starts getting quarterbacks on the ground more frequently? Texas now, I believe, with 27 sacks on the season, still got multiple games to go. This could be the best pass rush Texas has had in more than a decade.
I think it is because he's not even having to bring the extra numbers very often, Bobby. No. He's not even forced to change up what he ideally wants to do to get to the quarterback. Texas is able to get to the quarterback with 4 or 5, which they have not really been able to do since Sark's been here. So this is a different level. Obviously, getting Colin Simmons takes you to a different level. A freshman's got 6 sacks. I'll be surprised if he doesn't add to the total today. But a freshman's got 6 sacks, so of course you're a lot better. A guy that should be a first-rounder, but Trey Moore comes in. Ethan Burke, a year older. Barron Sorrell's a senior. Anthony Hill's a sophomore. They just have more parts to consistently rush the quarterback without PK having to give up what he wants to do defensively and bring a lot of numbers.
That Texas defense, you mentioned Alfred Collins, Simmons, just a tremendous addition to this Texas football team this year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You've got a number of guys right now, Jerry, that Texas is just, frankly, they're, they've got dudes now. Trey Moore, the addition of Trey Moore has proven more and more valuable each and every week. A lot of people were worried about his relative lack of production, but nowadays nobody's talking about that anymore. They understand how he fits in Pete Kwiatkowski's defense. You bringing back another guy like Ethan Burke as well. That edge has been tremendous.
Yes.
Add in a guy like Jermaine Lole, who's been
played really well. He's played really well.
Bill Norton's had some nice pieces. Vernon Broughton obviously returned. Speaking of Vernon Broughton, I think now is the time to talk about the seniors.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be a big senior day for the Texas Longhorns. They are announcing the departure, essentially, of a multitude of players, 8 starters in all, Jerry. Upwards of 10 others that are going to be announced. But our CJ Vogel reporting yesterday that Quinn Ewers will be one of those who is announced later today. Maybe at the end of it, of this being his last game, at least last regular season game at DKR. That should put to rest any rumors. And we talked about this the other day. We're just not going to participate in those kind of rumors. Yeah, exactly. We knew he was going pro, but apparently that'll be confirmed later today as well, Jerry. What do you make of all these guys? Before you do that, I need to say thank you to one of our sponsors, if you don't mind. But
no, that's fine.
The guys that are
get back to searching for who this recruit is.
Absolutely. Thank you very much to Hargrove Roofing, our friends over there with offices all over Louisiana and Arkansas, and of course Austin and all parts of Texas, Dallas, Houston, etc., Texarkana, Longview. Hargrove Roofing will take care of all of your roofing needs. Plus, they're Longhorn friendly with partners like kicker Bert Auburn and former defensive tackle Stevie Lee. They are the most pro burnt orange roofing company out there. Call them today for a free roof inspection. Hargrove Roofing, know who's on your roof. Also want to say thank you to South Point Dodge, the guys over at South Point Dodge, including Walker Stark. We appreciate you guys very much for everything you've done for us. South Point Dodge says you can score an extra point this season when you get to the point at South Point Dodge. South Point Dodge has over 600 vehicles in stock, and their award-winning sales staff doesn't do games or gimmicks. They just get straight to the point by getting you the best deal. Score big today at South Point Dodge. Come see them off of I-35 in South Austin or at southpointdodge.com. Get to the point at South Point Dodge. All right, Jerry, here's the list of the young men expected to walk today that are starters. Jahdae Barron, okay, a 4-year player at the University of Texas. Last 2 years have just been unbelievable for him. Been a great player in the Longhorns. Alfred Collins came on strong the last year and a half, really. The second half of last season, we saw some consistency starting. This whole season, he's been consistent. Great player. Baron Sorrell, another defensive lineman, a guy that's played a little bit as a true freshman, but held down a starting spot at Texas for 3 consecutive years and keeps getting incrementally better each and every year. Absolutely what you want. Gunnar Helm, another 4-year guy at the University of Texas who continues to get better and better each successive year. He went from being in the shadow of JT Sanders a year ago to now he's in the limelight. Great player for the Longhorns. Hayden Connor and Jake Majors, both multi-year starters for the Longhorns. They're expected to walk today as well. Those young men have been the anchors of the Texas offensive line alongside Kelvin Banks and now DJ Campbell and Cam Williams. Also, we got a couple others. Vernon Broughton, defensive lineman. He's also a starter. He's expected to exit. And then another one that is a walk-on, Bert Auburn, a young man, kicker. Started off at Texas as a walk-on. Now he's expected to walk. There are another dozen or so guys expected to walk as well.
I got to look at Bobby's list here. I call this player development Saturday for Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, Jake Majors came in. We had him when I was ESPN. We had him in the Under Armour All-America game, but he had never played center before. So you still had to develop at that position. Okay. Gunnar Helm, player development guy, 3-star prospect. Baron Sorrell, 3-star prospect who was committed to Northwestern and ended up going to Texas. Then you talk about Jahdae Barron was a Baylor commit at one time, a 3-star recruit that ended up flipping to Texas. Vernon Broughton had a lot of talent, but his body needed a lot of work. That's a player development guy. Alfred Collins was an unbelievable talent, but he was more of a basketball player growing up. So player development guy. This is a group that I think Sark will talk about at the Senior Bowl, NFL draft, a bunch of guys that were talented, but guys that really developed in the Texas program. I think this class of guys today, this group of seniors, Sark is going to make a point to say, these are guys that stayed here. They bought into our vision at Texas, and they developed as football players. This is the program we want to have moving forward. Yes, you're going to have the Anthony Hills and the Colin Simmons and those guys who go 3 years and out. But it's these guys truly make the program every year keep going with a good flow to it. And I think that's what this day's about for these guys.
I'm looking at it, Jerry, and I'd also say this. The other guys that are expected to walk today, Gavin Holmes, Bill Norton. Then you have guys like David Benda, who walked last year. The only one that walked last year that's also walking this year is David Benda.
Yeah.
Mo Blackwell, you know, by the way, he got upgraded to probable over the weekend. So hopefully we see him as well. Juan Davis, what a great story he's been. Jermaine Lole also expected as well. I want to shout out real quick to a number of walk-ons who will be walking today. Quarterback Cole Lord, he's expected to walk today. Also, you have a guy, Thatcher Milton, at wide receiver, linebacker Marshall Landwehr, defensive lineman Dorian Black, as well as Chris Rizzi, a linebacker. They are all expected to walk later today as well. Very excited about those guys because you know what? Those walk-ons, they put in a lot of work and effort for the Longhorns as well. We're also going to take y'all's questions and topics here for the next 20 minutes or so as the tailgate here over in DKR over the LBJ North Lawn. It takes part right off of Robert Dedman and Dean Keaton Boulevard. Make sure you come see us today if you're stopping by or coming to the game. Let's go to this one, Jerry, from Colin Davis. Where's y'all's tailgate? How long will you be there? And are we allowed to come and say, hey, this will be me and my dad's first game of the season? Colin, I hope you understand. Yes, you are allowed. Please feel free. Faust Distributing is providing some of the alcohol. Rick Vasquez of Surly Horns puts on a great tailgate each and every week. Just do us a favor and please contribute a little bit to the bucket when you come over, when you grab a beer or whatever you do. But we would love to have you guys come by and say hi. I think I'm going to be here. Fried chicken today? Yeah. Fried chicken today, by the way, too. Kentucky Fried Chicken. There we go. Love it. Love it. Also got to say this. Jerry will actually not be here because he's going to go back and check on this recruiting stuff that's going on right now. Jerry is like, he's like,
I'm
mad
zoned
dad.
in right now.
You are zoned in.
That's how Quinn's as zoned in as I am today.
Yeah. If Quinn can, you know, keys for this game, I want to say this real quick. Keys for this game, in your opinion, is it just Texas not turning the ball over?
Yes.
Isn't that really it?
And winning on first downs defensively.
Okay.
I just look at Kentucky, Bobby, and they haven't scored 20 against anybody this year. More than 20 in SEC play. They had 20 against Ole Miss, 20 against Florida in a blowout. But if you win on first down defensively, they're going to have a tough time moving the ball against Texas. And even if Barian Brown's back now, you have to watch him on kickoff return. He's probably the best kickoff. He's only touchdown and kickoff return in the SEC this year, and he's an absolute blur. But he doesn't have great hands at wideout. But if Texas wins on first down defensively, that puts Kentucky in a tough spot. And for Texas, just it's the same things. Texas has beat themselves more than Georgia beat Texas. But Texas has still beaten themselves in a lot of ways this year, as much as an opponent beat Texas, or the close games, the slow starts. It's been more Texas beating themselves. If Texas just doesn't beat themselves today, and they've done better with the self-inflicted, the bad penalties at bad times in the last couple of games, but not turning the ball over, playing clean football. If they're going to have to, because Kentucky is physical on defense, and they got 5 or 6 NFL guys out there. So if Texas does that and then wins on first downs defensively, Kentucky's up against it because that means they're going to have to score 24, 27 to win the game. They haven't done it in SEC play.
No, they haven't. And look, the other thing that turnovers worry me. You don't want turnovers in your own end of the field.
Yeah, against a bad offense.
Against a bad offense that gives them the short field where all they have to do is get lucky once.
Yep.
I mean, look, Kentucky's got players. They're going to have a 25 or 35-yard plus play in this game.
Barian Brown will probably make a play.
At some point, they're going to have it. You just don't want it to be for a touchdown. Right. And giving them 7 free points is just not the answer that Texas or Quinn Ewers or anybody wants to see today. Because I tell you what, this is going to be a big one for the Texas Longhorns because they win today. Yeah. They're 10-1 headed to College Station.
Winner take all game if A&M wins today in Auburn.
That's exactly right. And you know, what else could you ask for?
Nothing.
I mean, that's what you want to be. That's where you want to be. That's what you want to do. Longhorns coming in today. This is what I don't understand. I don't understand how Texas is a 20.5-point favorite. That's where I really – are they expecting Texas to score 30 or are they just expecting Texas to score 24?
Or they expect them to do what Florida did and just maybe overwhelm them. But, yeah, here's the thing about the Kentucky-Florida game for those that missed it. Vandegrift missed a shallow tight end cross. He threw it way up and away. The tight end tipped it off his left hand, reaching behind him. Interception. Barian Brown dropped a 25-yard in route between two defenders. Is the best, maybe the best throw Vandegrift's had all season. Went through the middle of his hands, intercepted. Kentucky self-inflicted in that game and blew up and helped Florida get all that momentum. But then once the momentum started going, Kentucky didn't do much to stop Florida. And I know it's a different team, different offense. DJ Lego has run, Florida a little different offensively, but Kentucky has turned the ball over this year, and it's really on the road, and it's really hurt them against good teams that have enough offensive firepower.
Yeah, they just got to. I mean, look, Kentucky has to win the last 2 games to get bowl eligible.
Yeah.
So that means they'd have to beat Texas and then beat Louisville. That's their rival. Not unlike Texas, they have their rival the last game of the year, or one of their rivals. And so we'll have to wait and see what happens here.
The other thing is, by the way, Bobby, didn't mean to catch up, but the Tennessee game, while the score says 28-18, the Tennessee kicker went mental and missed 3 field goals inside 45 yards the first 16, 17 minutes of the game. That's the only reason that game was 10 points. Yeah. That's a deceptive score, too. So as from the betting side, I think Kentucky on the road, if Tennessee's kicker doesn't go mental and miss 3 field goals, that game's probably gets out of hand earlier and is a different score than a 10-point win.
All right, let's get back and take a few of your questions. Please get those in, and we'll go through them as quickly as we can here. We got about another 15 minutes on this Texas Tailgate show. Jerry, this one for you and me from AJJ. Does Trey Moore return next season?
Tough question.
You and I spoke with his agent about a month ago now? Yeah. And, the thought process then was he didn't have many stats. Things aren't necessarily, at UTSA where he's just pinned his ears back and got after the quarterback. He had these outstanding stats. I think he could deal with another year of college football where he continues to develop as an off-ball linebacker that can drop into coverage and kind of be a what do they call him? A positionless football player is what Rod Babers, the term that uses. I think that's the current line of thinking for Trey Moore.
Yeah.
You agree with that right now?
Yeah. He's an interesting player to talk about because he's not going to get taller. His arms aren't going to get longer, and he's probably not going to get faster. Right. So from that perspective, if he went to the NFL, you'd probably understand it. Say, okay, if I'm a 4th, 5th, 6th round pick, that's what I am because I'm not going to grow. I'm not. So you could understand that line of thinking. And then their line of thinking is you proved, like you said, Bobby, you proved you could handle the physicality of the SEC this year. Next year, become more of a pass rusher like you were earlier. Make more plays, get the quarterback to the ground more. He's affected the quarterback this year, but maybe not to the level we thought.
Yeah, I think that's all fair and good. My take on it, he just needs another year.
Yeah.
Learning that position because I think that's ultimately you can see him. That's what he's going to play in the NFL if he makes it there. All right, other questions here. This one from C. Gaddis. Will this be the biggest test other than Georgia for Texas's O-line?
No, that's next week.
Okay, but other than Georgia so far?
Deion Walker is a beast if he's fully healthy. J.J. Weaver is going to give it a go today. He's their best pass rusher, and he's 6'5", 255. It may be. But Deion Walker's a really good football player. I don't know. Michigan's talented. I mean, Michigan's got both those guys are going to go in the first round at the end of the day, and Josiah Stewart's going to be a mid-round draft pick. So they have 3 guys. Oklahoma is terrible on offense, but they got a number of NFL guys in their front 7. So I will say Deion Walker may be the most impressive-looking player on the defensive line physically that Texas has gone up against, but I don't think it's going to be the best defensive line.
Outside of Georgia, though, who else would be better than Georgia? Outside of Georgia, who else would be?
Oklahoma, Michigan.
Okay.
But next week A&M is going to – I think A&M is going to be the second best defensive front.
Yeah, I think Michigan definitely better.
Yeah.
We'll see if that actually works out. Hey, got a couple of questions on recruiting, so we're going to skip there real quick. This from K. Nip Towns. Is Nick Town be there?
Scheduled
to
be.
Yep. And then also Justin Yarbrough wants to know any updates on Cade Phillips, hoping we can get him on campus before signing day. And how many highs are we up to, Jerry? You posted one.
There goes a bus of recruits right there.
There sure is, isn't it?
The first bus of recruits. So that means we're in a pretty good spot, except they don't stop and tell us who they are on the way by. They have a really shitty bus driver that doesn't cooperate. the Cade Phillips thing's interesting. This has been a really weird 10 days of recruiting because there's been so much quarterback movement, 5 stars dipping out of one school, dipping into another school. I haven't seen anything like this late from a QB perspective. I think it's a mad dash before Bobby, before I lost my train of thought.
Before signing day.
Before profit sharing.
Oh, before profit sharing.
There's a mad dash in this cycle right now, knowing there's change coming.
So, in other words, what you're saying is that it's a free market right now.
Yes.
Before profit sharing.
Yes.
So you better get while the getting's good.
Yes. That's why I could be wrong, but that's just the impression I get. But it's just this has been a wild cycle though here in recent days. I mean, kids popping in saying they're going to visit. And I'm not just talking about Texas, but the Texas fans. That's what they're centered on everywhere. I mean, Florida thought Javion Hilson was going to show up there today. He's on the plane to Michigan. I mean, it's like this has been a wild ride. Kellen Wiley, midweek, I was told, he's probably going to visit Texas. Nope, he's going to Florida. I mean, so this has been a really wild ride here, and the last week and a half is probably going to be more of the same. But I think the also thing is this mad dash. If you have your last home game of the season this week, Florida, Texas, a couple of others, Michigan, you're trying to get those kids on campus one time here because you don't have the home game next week. So it's a mad dash situation with signing. They go into December 4th.
Michigan had the big quarterback commitment too, where they went all in on an NIL package. It looks like they're going to try to flip Ty Haywood, also the Denton Ryan offensive lineman, as well as Javion Hilson, the one that Texas is very interested in, the defensive end.
Larry Ellison married the wrong family then. Everybody's saying the lady he married is a big Michigan fan, and she didn't want like a vacation. She wanted like football players. Well, dadgum, man.
Hey, I want to say this real quick. If you are by chance in the area and come up to the tailgate today, please stop by and say hello to me and Jerry or whoever else you see here. My wife Jenny's here, Matt, our producer, as well as a number of other people. I also want to mention this, Flat Creek Estate Winery. It also has an outlet, a little sponsored booth here as well. If you're looking for some wine as well as some frosés, some nice cocktails, you need to stop by. The guys, the folks over at Flat Creek Estate Wine. Flat Creek Estate Winery is just minutes from downtown usually, and that's where we've seen them out there drinking the Super Texan and other vintages. They won award after award this year for their vintage wine, Super Texan. Super Texan is now available at your local Specs, so give it a try. Jerry, 2 really nice people came up yesterday at the co-op and gave Rod and myself a Christmas present of Super Texan.
Awesome.
Really cool.
Hey, by the way, hey, Jenny, how are you going to fight back against Blake Monroe's wife's Christmas trees? We got, but Bobby needs a Christmas tree in next week or a couple. Yeah, we got. I just threw the challenge down for Jenny.
I got to tell you, if it's like this tomorrow, I think me and Jenny may be going out to Flat Creek Estate Winery because when I tell you it's a Chamber of Commerce Saturday in Austin, Texas, it is absolutely gorgeous. The weather is cooperating. It's nice and it's not chilly, but it's not warm. It's just like perfect 70-ish degrees. Flat Creek, by the way, is a gorgeous venue with barbecue and wine tastings every single weekend. It's perfect for a day date with your significant other. That's Flat Creek Estate Winery. All right, Jerry, got some other questions. Rudy Serta asks us, what time does the team bus arrive? That will be around 1 o'clock is my understanding. Excuse me, 12 o'clock.
12:05.
12:05 will be at that point in time. So make sure you're out there for that. Again, this is the last time for so many seniors to be out there. I think it's also really be smart, by the way, if you want to be in the stadium early today to see those seniors off the right way. By the way, did you hear about what Sark did on Thursday's practice where he formed a tunnel of the all the underclassmen and all the seniors kind of walked through that tunnel and got a round of applause from their teammates on Thursday at practice.
The best teams in sports are connected teams.
Yeah,
connected teams at the high school and college level. Connected teams are your best teams.
Yeah. Jose Rodriguez asking, how early do I need to get to the stadium for the final salutes? I need to pay respects to the players that truly brought us back. That's a good point, too. Yeah. They are the players that truly brought us back. At least 30 minutes prior to the game.
Well, I wanted to say that about Quinn because, look, it's
Yeah, Quinn specific.
It's been an up and down season for Quinn, right? I mean, everybody would say that. Guy he's had tough luck with injuries since his junior year of high school. But he was big in this flip at Texas for Sark's flip. And the quarterback's the most scrutinized position in sports. It always has been. It always will be. And I just hope the fans, because I'll say this. I can't imagine how tough it is to be Quinn and you get hurt and Arch Manning comes in the game and it's the loudest applause in the stadium all year.
Oh, yeah, it sucks.
It sucks, right?
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to be like everybody's excited about Arch, but that how does that feel if you're Quinn Ewers?
Yeah. I hope the Texas fans send Quinn and his family out with a massive ovation today. He was big in bringing being part of bringing this program back. If he didn't transfer back when he did, Sark had a little bit of a bigger rebuild starting at the quarterback position.
Well, Hudson Card is what 1-10 right now up at Purdue. I mean, look, and that's no offense to Hudson or his time in Austin. It's just Quinn's a better quarterback.
Yep.
And so what would Texas do in the interim? Well, maybe Malik Murphy would be starting, or maybe they wouldn't have gotten Arch Manning if Arch would have been thrust into it right away. I mean, his parents clearly wanted him to redshirt. They knew Quinn Ewers was going to be there to be so he could have the time to develop. A lot of pieces to the puzzle like that.
There's a good question.
Yeah, Bobby Betronic is Berrien Brown, the best athlete our secondary has seen up to this point. Best athlete, yes. Is he the best receiver?
No, because his drops are going to cost him in the NFL draft. If he had a big time hands, I think he might be a top 15 pick.
Oh yeah, no, he's
a beast.
You know what?
Yeah, he's a beast athletically now, and in the kickoff return game. You don't want your kicker having to take an angle on him. I'll say that.
Yes, absolutely. Mario Ortiz, will y'all have a tailgate at College Station? No, we will not. Not going to do that one. I'm going to stay away from that madhouse on a Saturday night. Nathan, Jerry, did Myron Charles get confirmed that he was showing up? He's not even here yet, but he's on a plane, right?
Supposed to get in at noon today because they had a playoff game last night. So should be in the air right now. And I'll be, after this is over, I'll be
that's it. I told you that's the guy.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, so this is I think Jerry.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. All right, Nathan, Jerry, Auburn saying Nathaniel Marshall on an official visit to the University of Texas. Nathaniel Marshall, this is what Jerry was trying to confirm for you guys, we believe. Nathaniel Marshall, defensive lineman out of the Chicago area, edge/defensive tackle type, right? Kind of a mix. 6 foot. What is he, Jerry? I'll let you do it.
He's 6'4", 6'4", about 255, 260. Probably going to be an interior guy long term. But I'll just tell look.
Send Matt the photo so he can put it up on the screen.
Oh, we can't put that up.
Oh, we can't?
Official visits.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Bobby's trying to get me beat up.
Sorry.
At the new house.
Sorry.
Look at Bobby.
Sorry.
Bobby's trying to get my knees cut off. Be ugly over there for me. But no, Nathaniel Marshall, look, very talented player. One of Auburn's many talented defensive linemen committed. But he is we were trying to figure out who it was. We knew he was about 6'4". I thought initially it could be Hayden Lowe because he decommitted from USC. But it ends up being Nathan Marshall. Who we looked at photos, and Bobby was pretty sure before we went on air it was Nathan Marshall based on calves. We were looking at photos, and it was Bobby's like, "Where are the calves?" And so it ended up being Nathan Marshall.
I love it. I love this job, man. You never know what. Hey, Jerry, we do need to talk about this as well. Rudy sort of asked about Dia Bell. For those who are unaware, Dia Bell, the quarterback recruit for the University of Texas out of South Florida, was injured late last night in a football game. Ended up going to the hospital where they had his leg in an air cast. Sometimes all the X-rays came back negative. We hope it's just a contusion at this point or a high ankle sprain.
It was one of the weirdest reactions to an injury because initially everybody's like, "Oh, he's down, non-contact." You're thinking ACL or something bad like a ankle turned around the wrong way. But then when you saw the video, it was probably I thought
there was some contact. First of all,
Right.
And I thought he just landed underneath.
Right. But then he got up and like started to walk off and collapsed. And when I saw him, okay, he wasn't an ACL. That's not an ankle type, but it was one of the weirder reactions to an injury. So you wondered exactly what had happened to him because he got up and took a couple of steps and then he just went down. And that's not the reaction to somebody who tears up a knee. So
All right. I'm writing down Nathaniel Marshall on this list. So Jerry, Myron Charles, Michael Fasusi, Nick Townsend, Zealous Hicks, Joseph Mbaktu, Nathaniel Marshall, and Bo Barnes. I mean, I don't even know how many commitments are actually going to be here today.
Khalil Lockett's supposed to be here. Jamie French, obviously, in town.
Yeah.
Chris Stewart in town in 2026. There's some more recruits driving by right now.
If y'all could see this, they're in a white bus, like a sprinter van. And they typically park. Where do they park? Over at the intramural field?
Yeah, they park at the intramural fields because you just can't. There's nowhere to park here.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
they bus them over.
Yeah, there we go. So we're actually watching them go by right now this morning here on Texas football. All right, Jerry. Final thoughts on today's game before we let people go. I know you need to get back.
Yeah.
And go look at some recruits going on right now. So Longhorns favored by 20.5. There's something about this game that tells me that Texas is going to have a hard-fought win, which doesn't bother me, actually. I actually want to see Texas tested, and I want to see them have some resiliency to them so that when they go to College Station, they're not surprised whenever things are tough. That being said, I also want to see these seniors go out on a good note. I want to see them play hard and represent the university well. I want Texas to end up 10-1 going into College Station. I ended up picking Texas 19-9.
Okay.
Far from a offensive explosion, but you know what? I'm not so sure how explosive this offense is overall. I think they're a defensive team.
Yeah. And
Rod's been saying that for a long period of time. They're number 1 ranked defense in the country. Go out defense Kentucky. That's my task at hand for the Longhorns.
I'm going 27-13, and I'd gone back and forth. I almost went to 30s. I'm going 27-13. But look, being undefeated obviously is the best place ever to be. But even if you're undefeated right now, it's still the same thing for Texas going into this game. There's nothing better in sports than being able to control your own destiny.
Yes.
And Texas controls their own destiny. And the key today is to stay in control of your own destiny.
Do you think they get a defensive score today? Because that's one of the reasons I picked 19. 2 touchdowns, a field goal, and a safety. That's my recipe.
Yeah, I could see it. Or an interception to get you close to the 5-10 yard line. Yeah. I think something's going to happen defensively where Texas is going to be set up with a red zone or a touchdown.
Man, I got to say this one last thing. Thank you all to all who have joined us this year at Tailgates and come out and hung out with us. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you to Rick Vasquez of Surly Horns for all he's done. Thank you to the folks at Faust Distributing and Flight by Yingling for providing so many other refreshments, and our sponsors as well, whether that's Hargrove Roofing, Flat Creek Estate, Duck Camp has been a big one, as well as South Point Dodge. Guys, thank y'all so much. I hope to see you out here a little bit today. And when I tell y'all it is a Chamber of Commerce Saturday, it does not get any more beautiful than this on a Saturday afternoon in Austin, Texas. For Jerry Hamilton, as well as our producer, Matt Hutchinson, I'm Bobby Burton. Hook 'em. Let's go, Texas.